I wouldn't listen to Jordan either. So like he said, we've been talking about the 4 words that go along with Axis's mission statement. So why we do what we do here. Daniel talked about the first 2 words for the last 2 weeks. He talked about how to connect with God and how to grow with God. I've really been taking away from what he's been saying that I need to be intentional with what I do to connect with God, not just do it out of obligation or because I feel like I need to. And tonight I will be talking about mobilization and what it means to be mobilized. And you're probably thinking, what the heck does that mean, Ellie? Why are you telling me to be mobilized? And that simply means to be willing to do what God calls you to do. After you've connected with God and grown closer to Him and learned about all that He has to say to us, you're willing to do something about it. It wouldn't make sense if you spent all the time getting to grow closer to God and your life didn't change. Would you really be getting closer to God if your life didn't change at all? And the Bible is very clear about what God calls us to do after we've grown closer to Him. I have a couple verses to read for you guys. I suggest writing them down. You don't have to turn there unless you want to, because there's 3 of them. But the first one is Matthew 21:19-20. Therefore, go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you. And surely I am with you always to the very end of the age. The next one is James 1:27. Matthew 28:19-20. Yes, Matthew 28:19-20. And now James 1:27 says that religion that our God, our Father, accepts as pure and faultless is this: to look after orphans and widows in their distress, and to keep oneself from being polluted by the world. And the last one is James 2:26. As the body without the spirit is dead, so faith without deeds is dead. So, all of these verses seem to have a pretty clear theme. At least they do to me. Faith, like the last verse said, faith without deeds is dead. It's not really faith if you're getting closer to God and nothing's changing, if you're not really acting on your faith. God doesn't call us to stay stagnant, which means not to move, to stay in one place. He calls us to be mobilized, to be able to move and be mobile. So, what does mobilization look like? It doesn't always mean going up to random people on the street and sharing the gospel with them, because that's what it sounds like a lot of the time when people have told me about being mobilized. It simply means living how God calls us to. That means loving people even when it's hard to, being nice to the person who never seems to be having a good day, and choosing to be patient with your siblings, honoring your father and mother, simple things like that. Being mobilized is just simply being willing to act on what God called you to. And the thing is about being mobilized, it's not about your own actions. God will take care of that. I'm not up here because I think I'm really good at talking or something. The only reason I'm up here and not stuttering over every word is because of God. So this is an example of mobilization. If you're just willing to do what He calls you to, He'll work out the rest. And the thing about mobilization is you'll never know what'll happen if you don't choose to be mobilized. But you'll never know what will happen if you just choose to stay the same. And that's all I have to say.